Languid, easy on the eye, all shots in his armory, Sharma emerged from Mumbai's suburbs as the heir apparent to the batting greats of the 2000s. One of India's greatest top-order batsmen, joining Sachin, Ganguly, Sehwag and several other greats, inscripting his name with bold letters in the rich opening batsman's troupe in the history of Indian cricket. He starts every inning as a breeze, but never ends them without a typhoon. When Rohit Sharma was born, doctors said talent is born as told by one of India's most destructive batsmen, namely Sehwag, is enough to show who Rohit really is. However, it took time, dedication, sacrifice, and persistence for him to become a king of double hundreds and to become the hitman as he is popularly known today. Let's see the struggle-filled life story of such a great batsman who once couldn't afford for even 3 proper meals a day. And without further ado, let's begin the video. Our story begins on 30th of April 1987 in Nagpur of Madhya Pradesh, when Gurunath Sharma and Purnima Sharma gave birth to a beautiful boy whom they named Rohit Gurunath Sharma. But he wasn't born with a silver spoon. He belonged to the exact opposite community. He couldn't afford to eat even 3 square meals a day. He slept for most days without even having food. After a few days, his parents realized that they couldn't take care of Rohit Sharma in their small single-roomed house and thus sent Rohit to his grandparents' home and came to visit Rohit once in a week or once in a fortnight. In his grandparents' home, Rohit had no work at home and did not know what to do during his leisure time. Hence, he used to wander the streets every evening. One day, Rohit noticed a group of children playing cricket and kept staring at them. And here was where his love for cricket had ignited. He used to bowl off-spin brilliantly for his age. This talent was noticed by his uncle, who was awestruck at Rohit Sharma's abilities. So, his uncle had taken Rohit to a cricket academy and enrolled him there. Here was where Rohit Sharma met a coach who would turn his life upside down. And his name was Dinesh Lod. He recognized Rohit's exceptional ability and had asked him to focus on batting so that he could become a middle-order batsman and remain just a part-time off-spinner. Rohit Sharma started his onslaught there. And it never had met a full stop since then. Rohit Sharma used to travel by train every day and practiced hard for lots and lots of hours and kept shaping his skills and shots. But there was a problem. When Rohit Sharma used to go for practice, his trains would be highly congested as a lot of people used to travel in railways by then. And most of the times, Rohit used to keep standing throughout the journey along with his kit. He had also received lots of scoldings from passengers as the bats and stumps he had in his kit used to accidentally hit his co-passengers. Few even took away his balls and stumps as a punishment. Similarly, while traveling for an important game, Rohit had lost one of his kit bag's belongings and he did not know where he had lost it. He roamed the whole railway line in search of it, but was unsuccessful in finding it. On saying this to his coach had enraged and started scolding Rohit Sharma by saying him that he had no responsibility and had dropped Rohit Sharma from the team for 2 games. Rohit Sharma went weeping. But his coach didn't have any anger over him. He just wanted Rohit to improve his responsibility from then on. So, in a few minutes, he went to console Rohit Sharma and Rohit told his coach his difficulties. He told that he used to travel by electric train, getting scolded regularly by passengers in order to reach his academy. His coach had told Rohit that he wasn't the only victim of such problems. Even god of cricket Sachin had faced the same problem while traveling by local buses. And just because of facing these problems, he has become the most prolific batsman of today. Similarly, you too will become a prominent cricketer just like Sachin. Now it sounds like his coach wasn't wrong at all. Back to his training days, Rohit had attended school and coaching as a result of scholarship he received due to his exceptional skills. He also was the most obedient and disciplined kid there. Upon seeing such a mixture of talent, passion, dedication, hard work, commitment, and persistence, Rohit Sharma's coach wanted to turn him into a world-class player. But the problem was that his talent won't be noticed in his school. So, he went to Rohit Sharma's parents and asked them to move their child to a particular school which had world-class cricket facilities and easier to be selected for local tournaments and district games. But as soon as his coach narrated this to Rohit's parents, his parents almost started sweating cold and fainted. The reason was that the school his coach wanted Rohit to enroll in had a fee exceeding 1 lakh every year and they could merely afford 50 rupees a day. On hearing this, Rohit's coach took responsibility of Rohit as if he was his own son. His coach begged to the management of the school to enroll Rohit Sharma on a sports scholarship for 5 years for free and even promised to pay 5 lakh rupees at the end of the 5-year term if Rohit Sharma does not prove his skills. And there, Rohit Sharma had only 5 years to prove his mettle and become a professional cricketer. Moreover, he had the pressure of his coach's promise to pay 5 lakhs if Rohit does not become one. That wasn't his only problem. All of his peers were rich guys and when he played with 10 rich guys, there was an inferiority complex and his peers used to make fun of him. But one day he realized that he had to do something extraordinary for his peers to accept him. Hence, he smashed 100s and 150s in the next few games. After seeing his stellar performances, the same guys who bullied him started accepting him as a friend and helped him in petty financial stuff. Since he played well at the lower middle order, he was at times promoted to number 4 and number 5. As a middle-order batsman, Rohit Sharma smashed bowlers in the domestic circuit into smithereens. Among lots of tournaments, it was his impressive performance at the Giles and Harris Shield School cricket tournaments that paved way for his selection into the Mumbai Under-17 team. Before long, Rohit Sharma was included in the Indian Under-17 and Under-19 Indian teams. Finishing off as the leading run scorer in the Under-19 tournament with some mighty knocks, there was no looking back for Rohit. He made his domestic debut for West Zone against Central Zone in the Deodar Trophy of 2005, but had failed to impress at his position of number 8. However, in his next game against North Zone, his score of 142 off 123 balls has thrown the limelight over him. This was followed by his Ranji debut. Rohit has failed miserably in the first few games of the season and his place in the playing 11 was a huge question then. But a double century against Gujarat came to his rescue off hit bat by the virtue of which he had eventually become the highlight of that season. He also scored a winning knock in the finals of the same tournament leading Mumbai to pull of an incredible victory. He soon made his first-class debut for the Indian A team in a match against New Zealand Day at Darwin in July 2006. His 57-run innings ensured that India won by 3 wickets, hence he remained in the junior Indian team for the following series against United Arab Emirates and Australia. All these were not only noticed by his teammates, but also by the national team selectors. They provided wings to Rohit Sharma's dream by presenting him his international debut cap in 2007 against New Zealand when he was only 20 years old. In a few months, World Cup arrived and due India's devastating failure in the World Cup, a team with young guns were sent for the inaugural T20 World Cup. Among those young guns, Rohit Sharma was one of them. His unbeaten 50 in his first T20 international game had helped India to a competitive score of 153 for 5 and provided a basement in setting up a 37-run win over the Proteas in the T20 World Cup. Also his 16-ball 30 cameo in the finals also propelled India to the title of being the world's first T20 World Cup champion. But after the World Cup ended, his bad times had begun. Though he scored a few half-centuries now and then playing at the middle order, his consistency was so poor. He was badly out of form. He literally struggled and crumbled in the middle order. Numerous bad games and his poor run of form made him rejected for ICC Cricket World Cup in 2011. Rohit was heartbroken on the words of cricket experts and on his omission from the World Cup squad. But he showed his entire anger of his omission with his bat during the very first game he played after the World Cup. With a solid 68-run knock, he grabbed the Man of the Match award. But he couldn't continue his performance in the following games. In the 2012 series against Sri Lanka, Rohit Sharma managed to score just 13 runs out of the 5 games he had played. He faced a lot of trolls ever since. He was popularly known by meme pages as Indian Afridi or Vada of. He was trolled to an extent that even his parents had stopped buying newspapers ever since. Experts predicted that Rohit's career was over as he was benched for the next few games. The most famous of all was Ian Chappell, who told that Rohit was batting as though he was half asleep. But a miracle happened in his life which had made him one of the greatest batsmen of this generation. Having an average of just 12 in a calendar year, no doubt that any captain would have dropped him from the team. But the captain then was our mastermind Mahi. He thought differently and had other ideas. Dhoni promoted Rohit as an opener in the 2013 Champions Trophy. With better technique and temperament, Rohit became one of the top 5 scorers of the tournament. Smashing every bowler out of the park, he never looked back ever since the Champions Trophy and continued to rise higher and higher. Later in the same year, he cemented his spot in the team with scores of 141 and 209 in a home series against Australia. Yes, it was 209, his first maiden double hundred in ODIs. In the post-2013 Champions Trophy period, Sharma has scored 7,050 runs in 136 matches. During the period he has scored 27 of his 29 centuries, which also includes the 3 double centuries, and 31 half-centuries. This has evidently helped him average more than 50 in all the years since 2013. No wonder his promotion in the 2013 Champions Trophy turned him into the hitman we know today. The very next year, Rohit Sharma played the innings of his life, which made people gasp what type of player he was as he lit up the Eden Gardens on November 13 as he posted the highest ODI score for a batsman in the history of the game by smashing 264, featuring 33 boundaries and 9 sixes in a game against Sri Lanka. And this record has not been broken yet and will remain a record for many more years to come. And since that Goliath innings, his form never faced a halt. For 7 years as of now, Rohit Sharma has turned into one of the best batsmen of this era. He also was named as India's vice-captain due to his performances with the bat. In 2017, Rohit Sharma scored yet another ODI double century with a 208-run knock against the Lankans again. With this, Rohit Sharma became the first batsman in the game to score 3 ODI double centuries, with the rest are still struggling to score their second. And how can I speak about Rohit without speaking about the 2019 World Cup? It completely belonged to Rohit Sharma, who finished as the leading scorer of the tournament by scoring 648 runs. He became the first batsman in the history of World Cup cricket to score 5 centuries in the same World Cup. And also in just 2 World Cups in 2015 and 2019, he has equaled the number of World Cup centuries by the god of cricket, which is 6. Moreover, 2019 belonged to Rohit, who became the highest run scorer in a calendar year as he scored 1,490 runs in 28 matches at an average of 57.3, with 7 of his 29 centuries. He also scored a century off his Test debut a couple of years ago and also broke the record for the most sixes in a Test series in the same series against South Africa. Focusing on his IPL career, Rohit Sharma has been one of the most successful players in tournament as captain since 2013 of the Mumbai Indians, as he has led his franchise not twice or thrice, but 5 times under his leadership. But he didn't begin his IPL career with the Mumbai Indians. He debuted in 2008 when he was signed by the Deccan Chargers franchise. In the 2011 auction, he was sold to the Mumbai Indians. He was just a batsman for the first season and a half. But in the 2013 season, Ricky Ponting had quit his captaincy and Rohit Sharma got an opportunity to lead his side for the next few games. Surprisingly, the new captain led the Mumbai-based franchise to its first ever title win. And that was just the beginning. Under his leadership, Mumbai has won the IPL in 2013, 2015, 2017, 2019 and 2020, alongside winning the Champions League in 2013. As a batsman, He is one of the 4 players to have scored 5,000 career runs in the competition, as his 5,230 runs with 1 century and 39 half-centuries is the 4th highest runs scored by a batsman after Kohli, Raina, and David Warner. Today, he is one of the best batsmen to have represented India in the game. With his effortless batting, Rohit Sharma offers cricket lovers a sit-back and enjoy show. His performance is easy on the eye, yet high on effectiveness. But let's look at his off-the-field world. The same kid who once couldn't afford money to buy even cricket kits now has a net worth exceeding 120 crores. He is married to Rithika and is a dad to a girl named Samara. He is also a wildlife enthusiast. He engages in numerous philanthropic activities, promoting various causes such as animal welfare, health, and children. He is particularly vocal about the protection of animals and has supported various initiatives and organizations to promote the cause. In 2015, Sharma joined PETA to support wildlife conservation. In September of the same year, he joined an anti-poaching campaign in Kenya to save the wild animals of Africa, including the last surviving northern white rhinoceros. In 2018, on World Rhino Day, Sharma was announced as the WWF India Rhino Ambassador. After taking a pledge for the cause of rhino conservation, Sharma said, "My love for rhinos sparked when I first heard about Sudan, the last male northern white African rhino who passed away this year, thus leading to the inevitable extinction of the entire species, and that broke my heart. As the world and I mourned for my fallen friend Sudan, I researched the best way for me to help prevent something like this happening, and the best way I know how is to create awareness. After getting in touch with WWF, I learned that 82% of the world's rhinos reside in India, and I am honored to be WWF India's Rhino Ambassador to spread awareness and do my bit to contribute to the protection and survival of the rhino and help make this world a better place for them." And no wonder India is fortunate to have a cricketer as well as a good human in the form of Rohit Sharma. What we can learn from Rohit's life is that a hungry stomach, an empty wallet, and a broken heart can teach the best lessons in life. On this note, I would like to end today's video. I will see you in another video. Till then, goodbye.